Hi, I'm Chris.
According to the Bureau of Justice study in 2011, 71% of gunshot victims had previous arrest records. 64% had been convicted of a crime, and the average criminal had 11 prior arrests. Now that I've told you about a few staggering statistics, let's talk about what the Second Amendment actually says. According to the U.S. Constitution, the Second Amendment reads as such: a well-regulated militia, the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms. I'm going to talk about a couple things in this speech. I'm going to talk about some statistics, and I'm going to dispel some myths, and then I'm also going to talk about a proposal moving forward and talk about a little bit of what I think can help to reduce gun violence. So we all know the gun debate, we should say, is pretty polarized. You have one group saying we should be more European style gun control where nobody has guns, and then you have the other side where people should just be buying bazookas, grenade launchers and tanks. So what we need to do as a country is find a middle ground. And I believe once you fully understand the laws, you'll see that we do actually have quite a robust gun control legislation. It's just criminals are always going to find a way to get guns. One of the biggest topics for me personally is if I were to give up my guns, I almost lose an insurance policy for a catastrophic event if one were to happen. If I were to go to the mall or go to a concert in Las Vegas or go to the grocery store, at any point in time, I'm risking a criminal attempting to take my life or the life of somebody in my family. And I'm not willing to take that risk without some form of protection. And I believe the Second Amendment is there for a reason. I believe it serves a purpose, and I believe that we should do as much as we can as a country and as a population to defend that Second Amendment right. So now that we've talked about my view, let's kind of revisit the statistics that I gave you in the opening. Like I said, 71% of gunshot victims had previous arrest records, and 64% had been convicted of a crime. I think the main issue here is the high recidivism rate between criminals. So obviously, knowing the laws, criminals, once you're convicted of a crime that requires more than 1 year in prison, you are automatically disqualified from owning a firearm from thereafter. So how these criminals are getting guns is through personal networks, through friends in maybe gangs or black market type firearms. And instead of regulating the law-abiding citizens even further, I think we should do something as a country to tackle the recidivism rate. And whether that be, more rehabilitation in prisons, more counseling, more education, more awareness, and maybe more job opportunities once these people get out of prison, I think that'll help so they won't just resort back to violent crime once they get back out of prison. So now I'm going to talk about some loopholes and some of the things that you might hear on the media that are 100% false. So you might hear a lot on the news about gun show loophole. People say, yeah, you can just go to a gun show. There's thousands of guns there. You can walk, grab one, take it home. That is 100% not the case. If you buy a firearm from a licensed firearm dealer, you must perform a background check. That background check asks you questions like, have you been convicted of a crime? Are you addicted to any illegal substance, alcohol, drugs? Have you ever been convicted of illness? Are you an illegal alien? All these questions are asked on the forms, and you must answer those questions correctly and honestly. And if you're answered yes to any of those questions, you automatically will not be able to buy a firearm. Now, there is certain states, Florida being one of them, that you can exchange a firearm face to face between two residents of that state over the age of 21. This I feel is acceptable in my opinion because it's personal property. I buy a car. I don't know what that person's going to use that car, but if he wants to buy my car, he should be able to buy my property from me without going through that. Another common myth is assault weapons. We shouldn't have assault weapons on the streets, or you shouldn't be allowed access to a military firearm that's only designed to kill people. A common misconception is assault rifles are fully automatic weapons. And fully automatic weapons are highly, highly regulated by the National Firearms Act and by the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Bureau. One thing that's great also about this country, if you feel that you are in an area with lax gun laws and you feel like it's not comfortable for you and your family, you are more than welcome to move to a state that has more strict gun laws. For instance, California, a lot of the Northeast, Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, DC, all those states have really strict gun laws. And if you feel unsafe, or if you feel that you would like to be in a community where guns are more restrictive, then you're more than welcome to move there. According to the 2011 National Gang Threat Assessment by the FBI in September 2011, 92% of gang murders are committed with guns. Gangs are responsible between 48 and 90% of all violent crimes. So now that we've said that, I think there's a bigger issue than just firearms. I think we can focus more on how to stop gang violence, how to lessen gang violence, how to get these people more involved in the community so they feel like gangs are the only thing that they have to resort to. Speech, I think there are many solutions on how to fix the problem in the United States, but I also feel that it's every American's right, per the U.S. Constitution, to own a firearm and use a firearm to protect yourself and your family in the event of a crime being committed against you. So I hope you learned a little bit about guns. I hope you change your thought process on gun violence and why gun violence happens. And I encourage you all to purchase a firearm, train with a firearm, and be equipped to protect yourself. Thank you.